Hi, Cutie Pies. It is Lanikia, and I am coming to you with General Hospital, Season 59, Episode 103. Now, this is a Wednesday episode, 2/9/2022, but it wasn't that great of an episode. I mean, it was good, but you could tell it was just like a filler Wednesday episode, and they just give you a little bit of tidbits to get you through so that you can stay tuned in on that Thursday, Friday. Because they love that. And like, imagine being on the soaps. You have to have a cliffhanger every single week to make people tune in, weekly. Anyways, let's go. So again, I'm going to start with people that were most interesting to me to the least, interesting. Excuse me, to the least from the least interesting to the most interesting. CPs, cutie pies. Okay, so let's just get we're going to go ahead and get Dante and Sam out of the way. So Sonny comes to the hospital and he's there to check up on Dante, and Dante lets him know he's good. So Sam and Sam and Dante are talking, and they just talk about their relationship because Dante says he has no right to ask Sam about, anything she has going on with, her past with Drew, and she just lets Dante know she loves him. They're going to be in a relationship. That's pretty much what this was about, that they're committed to being in their relationship, which we all knew there was no chance of Sam leaving. For a minute there, they tried to make it look like, but we knew there was no chance she was going to leave Dante for Drew, because she just got into this relationship with Dante. So it's all still fresh and new. Plus, they're really going to this storyline between Carly and Drew. So we knew that was going to happen, but that was them on that. Who else do we need to talk about? Okay, so they find Valentine. So they find him outside of a dumpster. A waitress does, and she calls and speaks to Anna and lets Anna know. He ends up being in the hospital. Even though he looks like he's drunk, he's really not. So Anna says, yeah, they meant it to look like that, so that whatever he says, no one would, the person wouldn't believe. And then at this point, Laura and Kevin are there, and they tell, okay, so Anna, Dante, Laura, and Kevin, really, this is all about them. Okay, so Laura calls and she finds out from Esme that there was a pizza boy, delivery boy in the hallway, and he's been knocked out. So this is how they find out that Charlotte is missing. Of course, they're like, we got to go find. It's probably Peter, because Victor, they've concluded that Victor is probably the one that helped Peter escape and get away with this and everything. So they're like, oh my gosh, he's taking Charlotte, but why would he want her? And of course it's because of the insurance and everything. But Charlotte ends up coming into the hospital room where Valentine is, and so is Kevin, Laura, and Anna, and everyone. And she tells them that she was kidnapped, but she was rescued. And they said, who rescued you? And she said, Grandpa Victor. And then Victor comes in the room. Victor, you're not like, yes, you got her or whatever, but listen, you put her in this danger because you told Peter. And so Victor was with Peter, and he found Charlotte because Peter gave him the vicinity and everything where Charlotte was, and then, the address whenever Victor got the boat and everything ready for Peter so that he could leave Port Charles for good with the baby and Louisa and not come back. So that's that there. So then we see where Maxie is talking to Austin and Britt. And I believe her name is Lisa. She's talking to all of them, and she's just pretty much telling them how the baby is hers. And she told Britt, well, we wanted to make you a part of it, but you had your own thing going on, so we had to use Bobby. And so they said they understand. At first they were kind of like, dang, you didn't tell us. But then they say, you know what, we understand you were trying to get her away from Peter because clearly he's crazy or whatever. So they're trying to figure out, how could Peter possibly know about this baby? And Austin realizes that Victor is probably the one who told him, because he said when he was going after Brooklyn so hard, when Victor gave him a sonogram and it didn't have a name or anything on it, he told him how to figure it out. Now Maxie gets mad at him, and I was like, girl, why are you mad at him? Like, he didn't do this on purpose. He didn't know what he was doing or whatever. Like, if you had told him the truth, then none of this would have happened anyways. But I'm like, don't feel bad about, like, you cannot make him feel guilty about this, because he did not know what he was doing. And had he known, if he had thought it would have been anything, I'm sure he would have already told her what he had done. And then we see, so that's those people. Okay, so then we see Carly and Drew talk, because remember, on yesterday's episode she went to look for Michael, but he wasn't there, but Drew was. And so she's mad at Drew at first, and I said, okay, listen, y'all cannot be mad at these people, because he did kind of talk her into going. But like, at the end of the day, it was your decision, because Sam told you, Carly, don't make Sonny force you into doing something you don't want to do. Because Carly had said to Sam, it feels like he gave an ultimatum. And she said, you know, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. But you the one that took yourself to Hunted Star. You know how Sonny is. You've been with him long enough to know how Sonny is, and he's just emotional and reacts. So she kind of got upset with Drew, and Drew was like, what happened? What's going on? And so she tells him Sonny was in the bed with Nina. And he said, what? Like, he is like us. I'm trying to understand. He is like us. And he was like, well, maybe Sonny thought the marriage was over. And she was like, there's no excuse. Like, I was 5 minutes late, and he's going to just jump into the bed with Nina. Yes, girl, he did. But Drew is just trying to figure out, he's not trying to, you know how when you're friends with someone and you don't want to see them hurting, you try to make not excuses for the person that's hurt them, but you try to make reason. Well, maybe he thought that, because you want them to try to work, you think, well, maybe they can work this out. That's what Drew was doing. He was trying to find reasons why Sonny would do what he did, so that him and Carly might be able to, talk about it and work it out or whatever. But Carly is like, no, he did what he did. And that's the end of it. Like, he didn't have to, like, I was late. First of all, you gave me this ultimatum. And then I came. And then because I was late, or I didn't do everything on your time, you just jump into the bed with Nina. And she was like, there's three people in our marriage. He's always had these feelings for Nina. She just going on and on and on. Or whatever. But she's right. She's right. Sonny was wrong for this. I like me some Sonny, and I like me some Nina, but he was wrong for this. And she just tells Drew he never faults Nina for anything. He never faults her for anything. And it's because he really likes her. He loves her. And he has feelings for her. And she can't. Carly is just like, I can't live like this. So Drew and Carly, he tells her about Sam and how he really has feelings for Sam. And so they just start talking, and they're comforting each other, and then they kiss. But Carly said, listen, I hate Sonny right now. I'm mad at him, and you feel the same about Sam. He was like, no, I don't really hate her. I just, I'm sad about, we can't get together. But they put a stop to it. Carly was not going to go and do what Sonny did. They put a stop to it and decided, like, we don't want to mess up this friendship. You know what I mean? And it would be messy, because it would be messy if they did this. So they stopped, and they didn't do it, which is what Sonny and Nina should have done, but they didn't. Because they really love, well, of course Nina loves Sonny. We already know that. But Sonny really wants to be with Nina. But he also wanted Carly. I think he wants Carly out of tradition. But if he had to choose, I believe he would choose Nina, because she's new to him, and like all of the stuff that comes with being Sonny, was gone away. He was carefree as Mike. So that's why I believe he wants to be with Nina. So then they put a stop, Carly and Drew put a stop to it, and they just, we're just gonna be friends. So then we see Sonny and Nina. So at the hospital earlier, when Sonny was talking to Dante, Nina was there, and he finds out that Nina knew this secret as well. So Sonny goes to the chapel and everything after checking on Dante, making sure he was good. Sonny goes to the chapel or whatever, and Nina was like, I knew I'd find you here. And Sonny looks at Nina not telling the secret about, Bailey and Louise, as that Peter was blackmailing her, and she could have really used this secret to get him off of her. Like, hey, if you don't tell anyone about Sonny, you know, I will tell you where your daughter is. Like, you know what I mean? She could have really used that, but she didn't, or whatever. She tried to get Peter out of the way, and everything. So she was like, I'm not a saint, Sonny. Like, don't do it. Like, I had selfish reasons for doing it. And he was like, it's all, there is never black and white. It's always gray. And I think Sonny understands Nina, because with Sonny, it's gray. It's not black and white. He's not a good guy. Even though he's a fan favorite, he shouldn't be. He's not a good guy. He's a criminal. He does bad stuff, but it's not black and white. There are reasons why you love Sonny. And so it just draws them closer together. And again, he says his marriage is over. Like, everything is done with he and Carly. So I don't know what him and Nina finna do. I don't know if they're going to try to work on it and move forward. But, I like Nina. I know, but I do. I like Nina. So I'm not mad at it. And then we get to Maxie. So Maxie is upset at Austin, and she kind of walks away, right, when he tells her that how Victor might have found out about Louisa. So she walks away, and as she's walking away, she gets a phone call from Peter, and he tells her, come meet him on the docks. And he said, don't get the police involved, yada, yada, yada. I have eyes everywhere. Just come by yourself. So, of course, she comes, and he tells her, I wanted you to tell your daughter goodbye. This will be the last time you ever see her. I'm going to take her away, and you'll never see her again. Or you could come with us. Sir, she don't want you. Like, sir, you cannot make this woman want you. She does not want you, Peter. You can make her want you. So he said you could come away so we could be a family. What kind of family is this? This is dysfunctional, sir. She does not love you. Like, how would that even work? How could you look at her knowing she's with you only because of her baby, and like, when your child becomes a certain age, she's out. Like, she's gone. If she did decide to do this, I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think she's going to go with him. But there's been, normally if a soap opera star is leaving, they'll tell us something. So I don't know if she's going to leave, take a break from the soap, and then come back like a few months later, like they sometimes do, or what's going on. But we'll find out, I guess tomorrow or Friday, what's going to happen. But I hope she doesn't leave the soap with him. I don't see her leaving. And I don't see her letting him go, and take the baby, and she'll never, this is not going to happen. So we'll see what happens. Cause there was rumbling about Peter being killed or something. So we'll see, y'all, because he's made a lot of enemies in the last 24, 48 hours. So we'll see what's gonna happen here. But anyways, that was General Hospital. I will see you guys tomorrow for the next review.